Hello, I'm Stan Bunn, Superintendent of Public Instruction for Oregon. Parents and educators agree that students must receive the best possible education. I'm pleased to be able to talk to you about one of the ways the Oregon Department of Education is trying to improve student learning through achievement level tests. A common saying in education these days is good assessment drives good instruction. I want to modify that statement to say good assessment drives student learning. We want the focus to be on student learning because we know students learn best when they are appropriately challenged. As a result, Oregon is moving to tests that provide more accurate information for all students. In the past, tests told us whether students met our standards, but they didn't provide precise information about actual achievement levels of students well below or well above the standard. Level tests will give us that information. I invite you to take a few minutes to learn what achievement level testing is all about and why we think it will prove to be an important element of Oregon's assessment system.
Hello, I'm Jan Brehm. For years, school districts around the country and in Oregon used wide-range testing, or a one-size-fits-all approach to testing. Oregon is gradually changing the way we assess students, developing a system that will give us a clear picture of how individual students are performing. After all, one-size-fits-all certainly doesn't work when it comes to buying clothes. Why should it work any better for measuring our students' academic achievement? Oregon's achievement level tests give us the opportunity to tailor or fit testing to the achievement level of the student. Level tests have been used in districts in Oregon and other states for over 20 years. Implementing them statewide is another step in a process of upgrading to a more systematic, individualized approach to measuring student achievement. In the next few minutes, we will explore Oregon's achievement level tests. We will compare wide-range testing to achievement level tests. We'll see how level tests are constructed. We'll outline options that teachers have to help them make the right selection of level tests for each student. We'll make suggestions about administering the tests. And finally, we'll talk about the many benefits of level testing. If you've been part of the assessment process in the recent past, you probably recall that 4 test forms were used at each grade. Each of these test forms was at a comparable level of difficulty and covered the same content. With these past tests, low-performing students saw a limited number of questions that they could get right, and high-performing students saw only a few that would challenge them. With achievement level tests, students take tests that are tailored to their current achievement level. This tailored test gives students an opportunity to show what they know and can do, resulting in a better testing experience. By moving to level tests, some Oregon students may be able to participate in state reading, literature, and mathematics tests for the first time.
Well, in the past, when we did standardized tests, we would have students who were on the high end that would take these tests that were designed for all students, and they would be bored. They would go through all other problems and they'd be bored. And so that lessened their productivity. The lower end students would come up to these questions and they'd be over-challenged, and it'd be too difficult for them, and they would pretty soon just shut down and start filling in circles and all of that. With the levels test, we can fit the child and the test together so that the questions are challenging enough but not overly challenging. So that helps them. They have a better attitude about taking the test, and it helps us too because it gives us a better picture of what the student can achieve and what they can't achieve.
Let's now take a few minutes to explore how achievement level tests are constructed. Consider the following analogy. For purposes of illustration, let's say that measuring student height is analogous to measuring student achievement. Let these students represent short, average, and tall for their age. Now suppose we create a measuring device that is just right for the average student. So far, so good. But what happens when we use our ruler on the below average height student? It simply isn't precise enough. We are out of the range where our ruler does its most effective measuring. In the same way, trying to measure the above-average height student with a single available measuring device also produces poor results. The ruler doesn't measure well beyond the top of its range. The solution to the problem has two parts. First, we need a measuring device that is appropriate to the achievement level of the student. And second, we need a single common scale, regardless of which measuring device is used. In Oregon, this common scale is called the RIT scale. The term RIT is shorthand for Roche unit. Although the scale doesn't have a true upper or lower limit, for all practical purposes, it runs from a low of around 150 to a high of 250 in reading and literature, and to a high of around 300 in mathematics. There are two important advantages to this scale. The first is that we can relate the numbers on the scale directly to the difficulty of items that show what students know. The second is that the scale is equal interval. This means that growth of, say, 10 RITs is the same amount of improvement regardless of whether a student is at the top, bottom, or middle of the achievement scale. The previous tests used for assessing reading and mathematics centered on the standard and gave the most accurate information about students whose achievement was close to that standard. The new system will have 3 levels of tests, each of which can be used to determine if the student meets the standard or not. The middle level is most like previous tests. It is best suited to measure student performance at or near the standard. The lower level is designed for use with students who teachers think may be below the standard. Notice that students taking this test can also show that they meet the standard. The higher level of the test is designed for students most likely to exceed the standards for that grade level. Students who would have exceeded the standard in the past will most likely receive a higher score on Form C of the level test. Again, depending on performance, a student may meet rather than exceed the standard using this form of the test. It is also possible that if the student performs poorly, the result could be a score that is below the standard. Remember that the 3 levels of tests for each grade being assessed, grades 3, 5, 8, and 10, share a common set of items that overlap. Each deals with the same content and concepts identified for that benchmark in the academic content standards. However, individual test items are chosen for each level to more closely match student achievement. It's not difficult to figure out which of the 3 levels of test should be given to a student. There are 4 ways to identify a correct level test for each student. One or more of them can be used in any combination. Teachers should use whatever method or combination of methods that works best for them. To help students get ready for the type of test they'll be taking during level testing, they may be given Form C of the state sample test. A scale is provided so the results can help teachers figure out which students should take which form of the test. Recent reading or math test scores based on the RIT scale can also be used. Guidelines for using past test scores will be provided to help select the right tests. The Department of Education will also provide locator tests. These are short tests used to select the appropriate test form. They consist of fewer than 20 questions and can be given before students are scheduled to take the state test. Finally, teachers are encouraged to use professional judgment. After all, who knows students better than their own teachers? It's vital that you be prepared before administering the test. Everything you need to know about the tests is contained in the administration manual. Read the manual thoroughly before giving the tests. Educators preparing to administer the level tests need to do some pre-planning to make the process go smoothly. The level assigned to each student will need to be known. A plan will need to be created to allow the materials to be passed out efficiently, while not allowing the students taking either Form A or C to be singled out from the group.
I get to tell you about how easy it is to administer the levels test. Before these tests are given out to the kids, since the children already have been given the locator or sample test, you will know exactly what level each child should be taken. So this is pretty easy. It's convenient for you. You don't have to do anything. You'll know exactly who takes what test. A suggestion might be you can put the names on the on each form, so that way you can just hand them out like a regular assignment for these children. No one will know who's taking the low or the medium or the high.
Oregon is committed to improving the way we measure academic achievement. Oregon's move to level testing brings with it some important benefits for students, their families, and the education community. The first benefit is more accurate reading literature and mathematics scores for students performing below and above the benchmark. As a second benefit, more students can participate meaningfully in the state's testing. In addition, accurate test scores help schools and teachers identify students needing extra help or requiring more challenging instruction. Finally, level testing fits the test to the student's own performance level, reducing the boredom and frustration that can come from taking tests that are too hard or too easy. To help districts and teachers get the word out about the benefits of level testing, the Oregon Department of Education will provide a brochure that can be used to inform parents. Districts may also decide for themselves how best to communicate with parents regarding level tests.
In our district, we found that achievement levels testing is an easy and effective tool to use in assessment and in parent communication. We find that because the students take tests at their level, students are much more comfortable taking a test with items in their achievement range. The items are neither all too easy nor all too difficult for the students, so they're much more comfortable taking a test at their level. Also, with the use of the RIT scores, we're able to show parents where students have been, where they're currently achieving, and where they still need to be. Also, the use of level testing has given us much more accurate information for each student.
Level tests produce more accurate results for those students considerably above or below the standard than the wide-range tests used in the past. They are a valuable addition to Oregon's unique multiple types of assessment system. Choosing the right level for your students isn't difficult. In addition to your professional judgment, you can rely on the results of locator tests, past test scores in reading and math, or you can administer the Form C sample tests and use those scores to place your students. The benefits to level testing are clear. In addition to helping you individualize your instructional approach, the tests provide parents with enhanced information about their child's progress in school. School administrators can base their improvement efforts on more timely, sound information about their students. And at-risk students can be more readily identified early so that placement decisions and other appropriate responses can be taken. With level testing, we're helping students achieve success, and that's what level testing is all about. It's a tool that benefits everyone.